Tonight on CTV News at 6, a death investigation in Ponoka County.
He had any enemies or anything?
Oh, no.
Neighbors struggle to understand the death of a 92-year-old man who they considered part of the nearby First Nation community.
We accepted him, and he accepted us.
What the widening war in the Middle East could mean for Alberta's bottom line.
We want to have conservative forecasts. We do want the potential for upside for the province.
And
a little bit of size, some tenacity.
The Edmonton Oilers bring in a big, bruising defenseman.
This is something that might appease some Oiler fans, maybe not all.
Cloudy skies for the next few days. Occasionally, a few more pockets of some light snow, and staying cool for 2 more days.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Police say the death of a 92-year-old man in Ponoka County is a homicide. The man lived close to Musquecheese, says Nicole Weisberg reports. People who knew him say they considered him part of the First Nation community.
Being my age, it's really hard to see why somebody would do that.
Musquecheese resident Elroy Strawberry Rain says he doesn't know why anyone would hurt his longtime neighbor and friend, Lowell Fensky. He had any enemies or anything?
Oh, no. He didn't know anybody. He knew me. He knew my brother Gerald. Yeah. He was very by himself.
Police say the 92-year-old was found dead outside his home last Tuesday. They say his death appeared suspicious, and on the weekend, an autopsy confirmed it was a homicide. Today, the door of his home is boarded up, shattered glass on the ground outside. The RCMP Major Crimes Unit is investigating.
I knew him all my life. It's hard.
Strawberry Rain remembers Fensky fondly. He says he met him as a young boy at Fensky's home and family farm, just a few minutes away from the reserve.
My dad would walk there when I was 5 years old, go get eggs, and the parents were very giving, and we accepted him. And he accepted us.
Strawberry Rain says Fensky didn't have any children, and his wife died more than a decade ago. He said Fensky used to farm, but sold his equipment years ago. He says he would occasionally see him checking his fence or his mailbox in town, and would say hello.
Native way you're supposed to respect people that old.
As part of their investigation, police are searching for dash cam video between 9 p.m. Monday, February 23rd and 3 a.m. on the 24th around the Bear Hills Casino and Highway 2A from Highway 611 traveling south into Ponoka. Strawberry Rain is hopeful what happened will come out soon. Reporting from Ponoka County, Nicole Weisberg, CTV News.
Airstrikes are hammering Iran as the U.S.-Israeli coalition continues its military operation. At the same time, conflict is widening in the Middle East as Iran strikes neighboring countries. U.S. President Donald Trump said he hopes the war will end in 4 to 6 weeks, but said the country is prepared for a prolonged conflict. An Alberta professor in military studies says the longer it goes on, the greater the risk of it spreading throughout the entire Middle East.
So anytime that you're dealing with this type of violence, the possibility of it going escalatory because somebody achieves a success or somebody down the line doesn't get the order not to do something, that's where the dangers come when you open up this particular element, which is the real conflict.
The attacks on Iran and its leadership are being celebrated by many in the Iranian community. On Sunday, people showed up in Churchill Square praising Israel and the U.S. for killing Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The conflict is driving up global oil prices. Last week's budget used a forecasted oil price of just over $60 a barrel. The price has jumped to more than $71. However, the province isn't expecting a change in revenue or Alberta's projected deficit. CTV's Tyler Barrow reports.
Last week, the province unveiled its $9.4 billion deficit budget, notably due to low oil prices. Little more than a day later, the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran, triggering an oil crisis, something the province didn't include in its forecast.
We want the conflict to end quickly with minimal loss of life. We're watching with interest about what our friends and allies are going to need.
As of Monday afternoon, it was sitting at over $71.50. Iran exports approximately 1.6 million barrels of oil a day, but tanker traffic is now disrupted.
China relies on Iran for getting a lot of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, which of course is now pretty much frozen.
The impact goes beyond oil, as 20% of liquefied natural gas is also trapped behind the Strait of Hormuz, while the waterway is also a key route for fertilizer.
There's that newfound opportunity to reestablish ourselves as a reliable supplier of both LNG and oil.
Alberta is also a major producer of LNG. U.S. President Donald Trump has stated the U.S. could be involved in the conflict for over 4 to 5 weeks.
The longer that it lasts, the more that it supports Alberta's budget.
But what's good for the province might not be for consumers.
As oil prices go, so do gasoline prices. And so it's inevitable that at some point gasoline prices are going to rise.
Smith says the current year's $4.1 billion deficit might be somewhat lower, but to balance the books for the upcoming year, the Premier said oil would need to average $74 a barrel. The Finance Minister said it is too soon to gauge the overall impact.
We want to have conservative forecasts. We do want the potential for upside for the province.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
The province is pushing Ottawa to make nicotine pouches easier to buy. The popular pouches are only available over the counter at pharmacies. While the Alberta government wants to put them back in convenience stores, anti-smoking advocates say online access for teens is the bigger problem. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Mint, this is peppermint, and this is spearmint.
Among the cold meds and vitamins, pharmacies like this one also have nicotine pouches for sale over the counter.
People use it when they want to quit smoking or reduce smoking.
Pharmacist Payal Patel added Zonic to her quit smoking section in 2024 after the federal health minister made it illegal to sell the pouches at convenience stores or anywhere other than a pharmacy. The move was meant to keep the addictive nicotine products away from kids, and Patel can see why.
Teenagers coming in asking for Zonic, and they were like, oh, we were able to get it from the convenience store. Why I can't get it here? And they're not even smoking, but they're using Zonic just to get the buzz.
Now the province is pushing back. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Service Alberta Minister Dale Nally says cigarettes shouldn't be easier to buy than a product that helps you quit.
Albertans are saying that, look, they want access to these products and shouldn't have to go see their pharmacist for it.
Nally argues the restriction pushes people to illegal and unregulated online markets. A quick Google search reveals multiple sites willing to deliver American nicotine pouches to Canadian addresses. While Health Canada permits 4 milligrams of nicotine per pouch, many products online offer 15 milligrams.
Well, the age verification is on the honor system, and the product that they're buying, there's no oversight on this. So it may say 15 milligrams, but how do you know it's not 30?
The minister says there are major fines for selling tobacco products to minors, which would apply to nicotine pouches too. One anti-smoking advocate believes loosening regulations would lead to unacceptable consequences.
The bigger problem is these products, these pouches are from the tobacco companies themselves. The tobacco companies want to sell these products. The tobacco companies don't care if kids get caught in the crossfire, and we've seen that over the years.
Minister Nally says government bureaucrats have been discussing the change with their federal counterparts, but the letter is the first political pressure Alberta is applying. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province is defending its decision to create a new corporation in this year's budget. Health Shared Services will cost more than $2 billion. Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us now. Miriam, what will Health Shared Services oversee?
Well, Jeff, the province says that the Health Shared Services will ensure all 4 health agencies have proper HR, payroll, IT functions, and more. And the Premier says Alberta Health Services was doing too many jobs at once, and HSS will streamline those roles.
That's the next process that we have to go through, is just making sure that there isn't redundancy and overlap, because the principal goal of everything we're doing is to have fewer people in those administrative roles and more people in the frontline roles.
It's a recognition that we can be efficient by having common resources that all of these entities need in one area, so we don't have to duplicate it across all of these entities.
HSS started operating in December and has around 10,600 full-time employees. $436 million is going to HSS from primary and preventative health services. The rest of the funding is coming from revenue of the other health agencies. Friends of Medicare questions the amount of money it's taking to restructure our healthcare system.
We've never got a clear picture of that. When they announced this plan and this idea, they estimated $85 million would be the cost of this restructuring. It's obviously been far more than that, and now we're spending billions of dollars to try to reintegrate a system that was already integrated and to have someone in charge.
Chris Galloway says frontline staff say the work isn't integrated. We won't know how much the province spent until its annual report comes out in July. And the province's plan to add extra ER doctors to help triage patients in crowded emergency rooms is also unclear. Smith says the province is in a disagreement with the Alberta Medical Association over compensation for those doctors. The AMA was unavailable to speak with us today about that. Jeff?
All right. Thank you, Miriam. That's Miriam Valdez-Carletti live for us tonight. Covenant Health is working towards the creation of an Indigenous health plan. The team has been touring the province to get feedback on current concerns and barriers to accessing health care. Covenant Health says it's heard racism is keeping some people from seeking medical help. It has also heard getting to appointments can be challenging for people in remote communities, especially in northern Alberta.
It's an ambitious goal, but hopefully by the end of the year we can, we'll be able to have a roadmap in how we can do things better.
Covenant Health says its next steps include putting together a report detailing what it heard. Alberta's government is putting $40 million into software security after seeing an increase in cyber attacks last year. Last week's budget says 66 applications will be updated or patched. The province says it can't give further details on what types of software are being modernized at the risk of creating new security risks. It says some of the software programs being patched are public-facing and are monitored closely for any suspicious activity. The province says it managed close to 3,000 cybersecurity issues last year. That's up 25% compared with 2024. It says the province also managed close to 20,000 malware attacks last year. Alberta will soon be surrounded by provinces that don't spring forward or fall back.
British Columbia is going to change our clocks just one more time and then never again.
BC's Premier says this spring will be the last time the province has to move its clocks. The province will then permanently be on daylight saving time. Back in 2019, more than 90% of people in BC supported eliminating the time change. Back then, the province decided to stay aligned with U.S. states to the south. David Eby says he hopes BC's American neighbours will join the province in ending the disruptive time changes. Alberta had a referendum on time change in 2021. 50.2% of voters decided to keep the clocks moving twice a year. Saskatchewan observes standard time year-round. In a statement, Alberta's Premier says they will take this all under consideration and evaluate if a similar change would be in the best interests of Albertans. You like the dancing there?
No. Yes. Did you see I don't know if you saw the video of the two little girls that are like elbowing each other. Oh, kids are the best.
I was distracted by the Premier.
Just the best. All right, take a look at current temperatures in the Edmonton region. We hit -7 this afternoon. -9 currently in downtown Edmonton. Wind isn't all that strong, but there's wind chill of around -14 downtown, -15 off to the northwest of the city. The official daytime high for today will come in at -3, although that was early this morning, just after midnight. Dropped to -14 at about 8 o'clock this morning, and then, as we said, got back to -7. We've just kind of leveled off in the -8, -9 range here for the last few hours and for the next few hours. -2. The average daytime high for this time of year. I think we're well below average again for 2 more days. CTV Drones brought to you by Century Casinos. 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Flying under cloudy skies, but snow-free conditions, at least for the time being. Had some snow earlier in the day today, about anywhere between a dusting to maybe as much as 2 centimeters. It's coming down a little bit heavier there in the purple zones just off to the south of Fort McMurray. And you can see around Whitecourt, it's a little bit of flurry activity that's tracking off to the southeast, so there might be a couple more snowflakes that fly through here before tonight is done, but for the most part, just cloudy skies through this evening. Tomorrow, in the morning, and then a break, and then again in the afternoon, could see some pockets of light snow. And again, that's anywhere between a dusting to maybe 2 or 3 centimeters worth of snow. Not a really heavy snowfall. Temperatures will be gradually cooling, though, -10 in the morning, -12 in the afternoon, and with some wind, It'll feel more like minus 15 to minus 20 through the course of the day. As we mentioned off the top of the newscast, we get another chilly day Wednesday and then back above zero Thursday. All those details in a couple minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Ahead on CTV News at 6, dangerous conditions.
It's important to get the training, the gear, and the forecast. All three of those things are always critical.
What we now know about a deadly avalanche on Friday, and
going through a whole period without getting a lot of scoring chances is okay if you don't give up a lot.
The Oilers acquire a new defenseman.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A ski race organized by an Edmonton ski club was called off just before a deadly avalanche at Nikiska Ski Hill on Friday. The Rabbit Hill Ski Club says they canceled the race because of 15 to 20 centimeters of fresh snow. It says conditions were too dangerous if a skier were to go off course or crash. According to an Avalanche Canada report, 2 skiers were boot packing up a slope when they triggered a level 2 avalanche. While one teen was able to escape the snow, 15-year-old Emilio Razdira was recovered unresponsive. He was taken to a hospital in Calgary in life-threatening condition and died Saturday morning. Avalanche Canada is warning of dangerous conditions in the mountains.
During these tricky, dangerous conditions, more than ever, it's important that if you're going out into the backcountry, it's important to get the training, the gear, and the forecast. All three of those things are always critical, and right now, really having a good understanding of the forecast will help you pick safe terrain right now.
Anyone heading out to the mountains should check the daily forecast on avalanche.ca. And there was a deadly avalanche in BC this weekend. RCMP say a 23-year-old snowmobiler died after a slide in Kootenay Pass near Creston. That was Saturday afternoon. According to Avalanche Canada, 2 snowmobilers accidentally triggered a slab slide on a slope under a transmission line. The avalanche danger rating in that area is currently considerable. The Edmonton Oilers have traded for a defenseman. That news came about an hour after the Oilers' general manager said a new player wouldn't fix their defensive issues.
It's not going to be magical new players. It's going to be the approach that we take as a team, understanding that going through a whole period without getting a lot of scoring chances is okay if you don't give up a lot.
Not long after he spoke with the media, Stan Bowman agreed to trade a second-round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks for Connor Murphy. The 32-year-old defenseman is in the final year of his contract and has 4 goals and 9 assists this season. He's played 805 NHL games between the Blackhawks and Coyotes. Hockey analyst Tom Gazzola says he's another experienced defenseman that the Oilers can lean on.
A little bit of size, some tenacity. I don't think, there's a ton of offensive prowess there, but the veteran presence helps, a steadying hand. I think a lot of people, fan-wise, around here wanted something to be done soon, and this is something that might appease some Oiler fans, maybe not all.
The Oilers' next game is tomorrow night against the Ottawa Senators. The NHL trade deadline is Friday. Still to come, high hopes.
It does feel like you're kind of on the precipice of falling off at any moment.
The future of ice climbing after a world championship in Edmonton, and
that's something else.
Why these seniors are getting tech savvy.
It's a blood moon tonight, but not much chance of seeing that here in the Edmonton area or really anywhere in the province. Cloudy skies tonight, clouds again tomorrow, clouds again Wednesday. Some cool temperatures to go along with those clouds and occasional pockets of light flurries as well. We'll get into all those details in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Some of the world's top ice climbers hope the sport will be featured in the next Winter Olympics. Events like this past weekend's Ice Climbing World Cup in our city are making it feel possible. Connor Hogg reports.
It does feel like you're kind of on the precipice of falling off at any moment.
Sarah Lilly from Canmore is in Edmonton for the UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup. Excited to show off her skills on the world stage. Speed is measured on the ice wall, while difficulty is done on the more consistent and angular wooden surface.
It requires like a lot of body tension. The holds are artificial, so they're like designed specifically to be used in certain ways and to be hard to use.
Many of Lilly's competitors came a lot farther, like U.S. team captain Gregory Love, who came from New York for his first World Cup.
Once you lose tension, you're off the wall. It's just like, and you can fall at any point.
Athletes dedicated by their love of a sport that's taxing on both of the body and the mind.
I've worked a lot on the mental game, so like when I focus, I'm like in the moment on the wall. Like I actually like blur out everything behind me, and I'm just one with my tools in that moment.
You can't just ladder up the thing. You need to think about which direction you're holding your axe.
Strong muscles, as well as sometimes strong teeth, are required. With the work it takes to get to the top, the ultimate reward.
And it's very satisfying when you stick like really hard moves, and especially ones that maybe you've been trying for a long time to work on.
Edmonton's Joseph Banks started climbing at local bouldering gyms. Seeing the World Championship 2 years ago inspired him to take his sport to the next level.
It's like the best feeling in the world when you finally top out, especially after climbing for a long time and being under so much tension. Like sometimes it's just like a huge release.
Ice climbing's continuing popularity in Edmonton, a point of pride for organizers and athletes who hope to see the sport in the next Winter Olympics. Until then, this World Cup is the chance to make new friends.
Everyone's pretty tight, and even though everyone's competing against each other, they tend to be pretty good friends.
A race to the top while creating a community along the way. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Could you do that? I saw you do a forecast once where you were sort of doing that, but...
What do you mean, sort of?
Sort of.
I was
You went
totally doing exactly that.
Just like that. Yeah, right with the inversion. And, happy belated meteorological spring, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks for changing the subject as well. Yes, the astronomical spring will start on the 20th, but we like to start our meteorological seasons at the beginning of months. So today's day 2 of meteorological spring. Didn't feel as much like spring as yesterday did. River Valley Skycam is brought to you by Action Furnace Fixed Rider. It's free. Cloudy skies. We're at -9 right now. 6 with some sunshine yesterday. We'll get back into that 6-degree range, it looks like, towards the end of the week. Jasper, 6 degrees right now, was in the 7-degree range earlier this afternoon. -19, though, in Fort McMurray. -15 for Lloydminster. Even in through the Peace Country, you're in the mid-minus teens. Now, the wind isn't all that strong in the Edmonton area. It has been pretty brisk, though, in eastern areas, and so it's been feeling about -25 to -30 through the course of the day today. That'll continue tonight, and there's actually a cold warning in effect for north of Fort McMurray. Wind chill potentially in the -40, -42 range. Snow south primarily of Fort McMurray, although you are getting some snow in Fort McMurray. Here in Edmonton, snow earlier in the day, a couple waves of it. There's one little pocket there off to the west-northwest that may go through, for the most part, just cloudy skies for the rest of tonight. You see this little striped cloud cover right here? There's your front, and along that, you're getting these waves of precipitation rippling through. It's not really going to change all that much over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours. So again, tonight, you get some snow across the north. Tomorrow morning, this starts to move in from the west-southwest. Heaviest snow is going to be in through parts of the Peace Country, Slave Lake, and then just north of Edmonton. But this is 8 a.m., so a chance of some light snow in the Edmonton region in the morning. Bit of a break, it looks like, early in the afternoon, and then another chance tomorrow afternoon. So much like today, occasional pockets of light snow. Wednesday, same story. Most of the snow is probably going to be in the morning, though. I think it breaks down in the afternoon and moves off to the northeast of us. As far as snowfall totals, again, don't write this in stone, but here's the estimates. According to one of the models, good 10 to 15 potentially by late tomorrow in through the Peace Country. 15-ish for Slave Lake. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 centimeters. So a dusting similar to what we had today. Another 1 to 3 potentially through the day Wednesday. No real heavy snow, though. This is going to be that sort of brushable snow. A little heavier, though, off to the north of the city. Could see 10 to 15 centimeters, maybe even closer to 20 in through a couple of spots. So mainly north and northwest of Edmonton, some significant snowfall totals over the course of the next 2 days. Keep that in mind if you have travel plans here in the city, though. It's just cool, cloudy, and occasional light snow. Colder air drops in through the day tomorrow, so we'll see temperatures slide through the course of the day. Gets a little bit milder Wednesday. It's not until Thursday, though, that temperatures get back into the green zone, back slightly above zero for daytime highs. -10 in the morning, falling to about -12 tomorrow afternoon. Occasional pockets of light snow, a little gusty midday and early afternoon, so wind chill will be about -15 to -20. Through the course of the day. Bonus prize deadline in the Mighty Millions Lottery is midnight Friday. Support the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation. Get your tickets by midnight Friday. You could win that new Porsche Cayenne or $120,000 cash. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. 5-day forecast, back to +1 or +2 Thursday after a couple of cool days here tomorrow and Wednesday, and then a handful of degrees above zero Friday and Saturday.
Thank you, Josh. Seniors are getting the chance to try out some new technology. As part of this year's Winterfest, GEF Seniors Housing introduced some of their clients to virtual reality. They got a chance to try some winter experiences like hiking and skiing.
Does it feel like you're there?
Oh, God, actually, yes. Yeah, especially on the cliffs.
The brothers say they would love to use VR again, since there's a lot of places they haven't seen. Those with GEF say there are many benefits to learning new technology.
Learning new things contributes to intellectual wellness and emotional wellness when it's fostered around connection and building social relationships through shared memories or new memories.
GEF started with 3 virtual reality headsets back in 2023. It now has 10. Still ahead, more countries dragged into the conflict in the Middle East.
The tyrants of Tehran target civilians. We target the tyrants of Tehran to protect civilians.
Iran lashes out after American and Israeli attacks, and
there has been more engagement between the Canadian and Indian governments in the last year than there has been in more than 2 decades combined.
Diplomatic victory, Canada and India close in on a trade deal.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
The Canadian government is calling for diplomacy as war in the Middle East escalates. Donald Trump warns the U.S. and Israel-led war on Iran will go on for as long as it takes. CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports now on the conflict widening by the hour as Iran lobs hundreds of missiles at Arab states.
Unrelenting and punishing, just 3 days into this U.S.-Israeli-led military campaign against Iran, and the number of countries being pulled into this war is growing. Blasts echoed across Beirut today. Israel's military confirming it struck Hezbollah targets in Lebanon after the Iranian-backed group says it launched rockets and drones of their own into the Israeli city of Haifa. Visiting the site of a missile strike on a synagogue west of Jerusalem, where at least 9 people were killed, Israel's prime minister says he warned the world that Iran was capable of attacking Western allies.
I stand here in a place that was bombarded by the terrorists in Tehran against innocent civilians. You see the difference. The tyrants of Tehran target civilians. We target the tyrants of Tehran to protect civilians.
Though inside Iran, Red Crescent workers there say more than 500 people have been killed, including children, who died here following an airstrike that struck a school. In the early morning hours, multiple flashes can be seen in the sky as a drone strike hits a British Royal Air Force base in Cyprus. This coming just as the U.S. has been granted permission to use British military bases for defensive strikes on Iranian missile sites. In Kuwait, a U.S. fighter jet is seen spiraling to the ground, one of 3 American F-15s shot out of the sky following a friendly fire incident. An oil refinery in Saudi Arabia was shut down today after it was hit by an Iranian drone. Iran's newly formed Leadership Council says it won't negotiate with the U.S. administration as the war widens its reach.
But this is war.
Istanbul University political science professor Kivak Yusaloy says many in the region are still waiting for Israel and the United States to present a credible case for setting off this war with Iran.
Turkish government nowadays does not want to be seen as siding with Israel in an attack against Iran. An unjustified attack, by the way. A lack of public diplomacy in all senses, from the side of U.S. and from the side of Israel.
While over 1,000 targets have been hit across Iran, Israel has argued that this was a preemptive attack. The only certainty, this full-scale war is escalating at an alarming rate.
Here in Turkey, President Tayyip Erdogan has called the attacks on Iran a clear violation of international law. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
Donald Trump is now under pressure to explain why the U.S. is waging war with Iran and what's the end game. CTV's Joy Malbon is in Washington.
U.S. President Donald Trump is not backing down, claiming a nuclear-armed Iran was an imminent threat. They saw an opening, he said, and took it.
This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime.
The president says they've crushed Iran's leadership. Though he campaigned on no more wars, Trump predicted this one will last 4 to 5 weeks, but he's prepared to go even longer. As the war widens across the Middle East, the Pentagon confirmed 3 U.S. fighter jets were shot down in friendly fire by Kuwaiti forces. All 6 crew members are safe. But the Secretary of War insists this will be a short one, and it's not about regime change.
This is not Iraq. This is not endless. This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes.
General Dan Kane said the U.S. is sending more troops and fighter jets to the region as this war expands. 6 soldiers have been killed in action, more than a dozen seriously wounded, and President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground.
We expect to take additional losses, and as always, we will work to minimize U.S. losses. But as the Secretary said, this is major combat operations.
With the world already rattled by the fighting, Congress is sharply split. Republicans back the president. Democrats call the war illegal.
They've started this war without permission from the American people or from Congress. We don't go send Americans to fight and bleed without the country having a say.
Lawmakers will get a classified briefing soon on conflicting intelligence over whether Iran was close to attacking the U.S., and they'll put the president's war to a vote in Congress. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
French President Emmanuel Macron says his country will increase the size of its nuclear arsenal. It will also expand cooperation with European allies, including temporarily deploying nuclear-armed aircraft to other nations.
De coordination entre adversaires.
Macron unveiled an update to France's nuclear doctrine today. He says multiple countries are interested in participating in nuclear war games, including Germany, Poland, Denmark, and others. While France and Britain are both nuclear powers, Europe has largely relied on America for deterring adversaries. Mark Carney has wrapped up his trip to India after he and India's Prime Minister pledged to sign an economic partnership agreement by the end of the year. The trip is described as a diplomatic breakthrough, but questions of Indian interference in Canada aren't going away. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Prime Ministers Mark Carney and Narendra Modi launch a new phase of the Canada-India relationship, and Carney invited Modi to visit Canada.
There has been more engagement between the Canadian and Indian governments in the last year than there has been in more than 2 decades combined.
We will turn ideas into global solutions.
Announcing 5 memorandums of understanding on energy and AI and 10 commercial deals, including a highly anticipated $2.6 billion deal to sell uranium from Saskatchewan to India.
It's going to be good for the electricity outbuild here in India, as well as good for the economy and good for, in particular, northern Saskatchewan and Canada, I would say, as well.
The pair committed to finalizing a new broad trade deal by the end of the year.
Business loves certainty, and particularly at a time like this where uncertainty is rampant, trade agreements give us some confidence that we can invest in each other's countries.
Carney has not taken any questions since a government official suggested Wednesday India was no longer actively carrying out foreign interference or transnational repression, and canceled the first media availability of the trip today, blaming scheduling. The Foreign Affairs Minister for the first time gave a clearer assessment of the comments.
The words of the senior official are not words that I personally would use. I agree with his comments relating to the guardrails that we have in place.
But the bilateral relationship has become so warm, Canada welcomed Indian government officials, including the High Commissioner, onto the Prime Minister's plane from Mumbai to New Delhi. Carney's office said Modi accepted the invitation, but there's no timeline for a visit to Canada. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, New Delhi.
Coming up, Alberta's bid for a best-on-best hockey tournament.
It's going to be, I think, the second most watched sporting event in the world when it comes to hockey.
Trying to get a piece of the World Cup of Hockey's return, and
residents were opposed because you're going to lose the town image, the town sense. We said, no, we're going to keep small community, but we're going to have to start growing.
Spruce Grove celebrates 4 decades as a city. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 73 cents U.S. Oil was up $4.21, closing at $71.23 a barrel. Gold was up nearly $64 on the day. The TSX finished the day higher, up 201 points. The Dow Jones down, losing 73. Anyone who recently bought a lottery ticket in Alberta could be sitting on a win. Someone won $1 million in Saturday's Lotto 649 Gold Ball draw. The ticket was purchased somewhere in Alberta outside Calgary and Edmonton. Someone also won $250,000 in Saturday's extra draw. The winner or winners have a year to claim their prize. The NHL's World Cup of Hockey returns in 2028. Alberta is submitting a bid for the best-on-best tournament, and Gary Bettman is visiting the province tomorrow. CTV's Glenn Campbell has more.
Scotia Place is really starting to take shape and is expected to be ready for the start of the 2027-28 hockey season. And it may already be in line for one of hockey's premier events. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman will be in Calgary on Tuesday to meet with team ownership, tour the arena's construction site, and get an update on the arena's progress. Some are hoping he may even announce that Calgary will be one of the hosts for the 2028 World Cup of Hockey.
Very much in support of a potential bid. I think it would be very exciting to be able to welcome the world for this event, and I understand that there's going to be some more news coming very shortly on that.
Calgary's part of a joint bid with Edmonton to host hockey's best and the next best chance for post-Olympics Canada-US rematch. Premier Danielle Smith confirmed Monday the province has kicked in $15 million to assist with the bid.
It's going to be, I think, the second most watched sporting event in the world when it comes to hockey. So we're crossing our fingers and hoping that the NHL Players Association, as well as the owners, make a decision for the Calgary-Edmonton bid.
Tourism Calgary's been working hard on the pitch. Hosting this event would be a huge economic boost to the city.
This would genuinely bring visitors from all over the world to come and watch the highest level of best-on-best hockey. You know, when you start to talk about economic impact for this would be enormous. This would be, north of 200 million type impact.
Farkas says he'll meet with Bettman on Tuesday night at the Flames Stars game, where he hopes to get more details, and that the World Cup of Hockey is just the start of things to come for this city.
Calgary's at its best when we're welcoming the world. We have that Olympic legacy of being able to welcome the world, to be able to come here to compete in Calgary. And as we think about the future prospect of hosting events like this, there's a huge business case. There's a huge economic case to continue to lean in, not just for hockey, but for all other sorts of growth industries.
Spruce Grove is celebrating 40 years of being a city. It was settled west of Edmonton by French and Scottish families in 1891. The village became a town in 1971. Spruce Grove was incorporated as a city March 1st, 1986. A ceremony to celebrate the anniversary was held inside Heavy Metal Place yesterday. A former mayor who was in charge during the transition to a city says not everyone was happy about it at the time.
There were a lot of discussions that went into it. Certain residents were opposed because you're going to lose the town image, the town sense. We said, no, we're going to keep small community, but we're going to have to start growing.
Still have that tight-knit community, that small town feel. People say hi to you in this community. A lot of people get involved in whether it's in sports or culture or just community service.
Last year, Spruce Grove's population reached more than 44,000 people, the 12th highest in the province. The province says in the past 5 years, Spruce Grove's population has increased more than 14%. The CPR Bridge in Red Deer is on the move to its new supports. The north section was moved this morning. Each truss weighs more than 200 metric tons, making the move a very slow process. The south section will be moved tomorrow. You can watch the move in person from the Gates Avenue Bridge or online on the city's YouTube page. Still ahead, first in North America to receive a first-of-its-kind hearing device.
Clock ticking, the light switches, the wind, the AC turning on.
How the smart device is changing life for a 10-year-old Canadian girl.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Tuesday in your morning, we are putting a spotlight on Nate's efforts to help women join the skilled trades and emerging research on endometriosis and how the condition impacts Canadian women.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
A 10-year-old girl from a small community in Ontario is the first in North America to receive a first-of-its-kind cochlear implant. Spencer Turcott reports.
A simple sound means the world to 10-year-old Anabia Bilal. She knows all too well what a world with little to no sound is like.
Before it was like really bad and very quiet.
The young girl from Fergus was born with hearing loss and has used hearing aids since she was a baby. They helped for a while until they didn't.
Well, my hearing deteriorated in 2024.
Then late last summer, a beacon of hope from Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital. Dr. Sharon Cushing believed Anabia would be a prime candidate for a new type of cochlear implant called Nexa, created by an Australian-based company.
Unlike many of the babies we implant, she's able to tell you what it's like.
So in August, Anabia became the first person in North America to get the smart hearing device, which was surgically implanted.
They had to cut open the back of my ear, then put then implant a magnet inside.
The technology itself, approved by Health Canada last year, includes a chip that can remotely provide the implant with updates, which was never possible before.
If somebody dreams up some incredible algorithm for helping the hearing be better, you're going to be able to take advantage of it because we can now put that on the chip.
Weeks of complete silence followed the surgery so Anabia could heal. Then her world turned back on. She could finally hear all the normal sounds.
Clock ticking, the light switches, the wind, the AC turning on.
She visits Sick Kids regularly for ongoing tests and adjustments.
What do I think of the implant? Yeah. It's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
The successful surgery laid the groundwork for others to get the cochlear implants too.
So we have done, including the ones earlier this morning, 57.
As for Anabia, her confidence keeps growing. And these days, she has no trouble speaking up when things get too loud.
If my mom's talking loud, I can hear it. And my mom talks very loud when she's calling somebody.
Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Kitchener.
All right, typical March. Couple cold days, couple warm days, couple good. It's all right. It's fine.
A little bit of snow here, a little bit of rain there.
We're almost through it. So close.
I was just saying to you.
Yeah, golf courses.
Six weeks, we'll be swinging clubs.
You won't stop smiling.
Out on the golf courses. -10 tomorrow morning, dropping to about -12 tomorrow afternoon. Wind will pick up around lunchtime and through the early afternoon hours, 15 gusting to 30. So it will feel more like about -15 to -20 through the day tomorrow. So a chilly one tomorrow. Some more periods of light snow. It's not going to be all day, but in the morning and then again around supper time, maybe 1 or 2 centimeters of snow. Wednesday early in the day, you've got a chance of some light snow. And another cool one there Wednesday, but back above zero Thursday by a degree or two, and a handful of degrees above zero into Friday, Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit our website. Have a great day.